Hi everyone, my name is Seba Radunovic and I am the Festival Bridge Officer at the Norfolk and Norwich Festival. And today I'm just going to be taking you through some quick ways to get started with Excel. So let's get going. I'll just share my screen. Here we go. So here's some dummy information that I've just put in so we can have a play around with it. The first thing I'd say is have a think about what information you need to collect and how you want to present it. So think about who needs to access this document. It might not just be for you, and there might be additional bits of information that you could collect which would be helpful for your colleagues. So for instance, this role column might not be specifically useful for me, but somebody else might find it really helpful, and it's just a good bit of information to have. So I've included it there. So at the moment, it's not looking very tidy at all. There's kind of bits overhanging here and other bits that have disappeared behind other columns. So one quick way that you can tidy this up is you can either highlight all of these columns, or you can click this top corner cell and it will highlight everything. And then if you hover over the column, you get this double cursor. And if you double click, it just automatically formats it into the right size. So that's really helpful and a good time saver. You might also want to add some columns or rows into your spreadsheet. And how you could do this is highlight a column or a row, and then right click and insert, and it will just pop it wherever you want it. If you want to add more, you can kind of drag a couple and do the same, and it will insert however many you had highlighted there. So again, just really useful. I'll just get rid of that so it looks a bit better. Another thing that you could do is continue the sequencing. So I've just got another sheet here, and we'll use this later. So you can see there's a bit of a sequence here. I've just listed out the months of the year. If you wanted to continue this, what you could do is highlight the selection and then just drag it across, and that will kind of continue it. And that works for days of the week, months of the year, even numbers, so 1, 2, 3, things like that. Anything that has a sequence, you can do that with. So we'll just go back to our original spreadsheet. Another really handy trick that I find is Format Painter, and this basically does what it says on the tin. So if, for instance, we had this cell which was highlighted yellow and we wanted the words in bold. If I wanted to do this for a number of different cells, what I can do is highlight this one and then go up here to Format Painter. And then if I click, it copies, so you can see it hasn't copied the text has remained the same, but it has copied the formatting, which is useful. It's obviously only done it with one cell there. If I wanted to do it with a number of different cells, if I double click, it means that I can just highlight as many. I could even like drag and drop a couple, and it will highlight it the way that I want. I'll just click here again and it stops, it goes back to normal. So let's just get that back to looking okay. There we go. So one of the most used things that I use in Excel is the filtering. So as I said before, think about how you want to present your information. So for me, I always put the kind of titles of the column along the top, and then the information I'm collecting I put below it. It kind of means that then I can have 100, 1,000 people book onto whatever event this is, and it doesn't matter too much. I'll still be able to see a lot of the information really easily. If you have the titles going down the side here, it might get a little bit messy. So just have a think about that. The other reason I put the titles along the top is because it then means I can filter the information. So to do this, what I could do is you could either highlight the whole row or just one cell, and you go up here to sort and filter, and it then puts these little squares on each cell. And it just means that you can filter it then. So if, for instance, if I wanted to filter by role, I could do that. So I want to see all of the head teachers. And there we go. It hasn't deleted any of the information, it's just hidden it. But it means that then I can really, really clearly see all of the head teachers that have booked onto this event. And then to get them all back, you just select all, and here they are. If, for instance, you've got, let's say this is a secondary, you can then filter by a number of different things. So you could then filter by head teacher and secondary school, and it would then show you. And that's really, really helpful if you've got lots and lots of information. It just means that you can find the data that you want really, really quickly. Something else that's really helpful about the filtering is if you select it, you can sort A to Z or by colour. So for instance, you could sort the roles like automatically by A to Z, so that's helpful. Something that I use it quite a lot for is, especially if I've got people, is sorting them by their surnames so that it's easier to find them, to check them off for whatever you need to do. So it's just really easy. It means that your data doesn't mess up, and it still looks really clear. So that's something that I use quite a lot. Something else that you could do is hide the data. So for instance, if you've got loads and loads of titles going across the top, sometimes you maybe don't want to look at a couple of columns because they're not needed. So perhaps I don't need to know if like what the role is or their email even, but I do want to see all the other information. So I can highlight those columns, right click and press hide. And again, it doesn't delete the data, it just hides it. And so that means that, again, if you've got a lot of information, you're just looking at the information that you really, really need to see. To unhide it, you just kind of select the columns either side of the hidden selection. And you just click unhide, and there it is, back to normal. So I'll just go back to here. So I've added this bit in just to help us with numbers and data and that kind of data. So some of you may be aware about the key thing that Excel does is the formulas and functions and things like that. So the basic one is that it just adds up all of the information that's kind of in the cells nearby. So if we wanted to see how many people had attended or booked on or whatever we're counting here in March, what we can do is highlight that cell and then go to this kind of sigma sign here and press sum. And it kind of automatically tries to fill in the information for you. So it thinks, oh, is this the information that you're trying to add together? Yes, it is. So we'll just press return and it counts it for you automatically. You can then kind of like drag this across to the different cells and it will kind of like automatically, that's good. So there's lots of different types of sums that you could have. So this is a basic one. It's just adding up the information above it. You could, for instance, then do a sum, go back here, that's adding up all of the totals of the totals. And there we go. That's all of the people that attended all of the months. You could then change it and add different symbols in. So this is B6 minus E6. You could divide it, which is the slash, or you could times, which is the asterisk. Let's see what that number is. So it's a big number there. There's lots of different ways that you can do formulas. There's a lot of comprehensive information online. You pretty much whatever you want to do, you can. So it can count the times a word appears. So if you wanted to count the head teachers or the freelancers, we can do that. If we wanted to count how many like secondary schools there were, it can do that. There's quite a lot that it can do. But that's perhaps something for another day. The other thing that you might want to do in Excel is make some graphs or charts. And to do this, you just kind of highlight the section that you're looking to represent in a graph, and then go to Insert. And there's a selection here of all these different charts. So you can kind of hover over these and it will kind of show you what the information will look like. Because obviously it might look better as some things than others. For instance, like as a pie chart, it doesn't really look that good. So let's go with a bar graph. And we'll just pick a standard one here. And then once you've got this, it just lets you personalize it a little bit more. So you can add a chart title, maybe whatever the name of the event is. You can change the color up here. So there's different styles. You can kind of change how it looks. So there's like lots of different ways to make it look very slightly different, but you never know. It's all about how it's presented. There's also like some more layouts here where it kind of shows you the information in different ways. Or if not, you can just add elements that you'd like. So for instance, you could add an axis title, axis title to really make it super clear. So there's lots that you can do with the design and the format, for instance, so you know, there's lots here. But that's something for you guys to explore when you're making them. But it's really good because it means that you can create a chart that is exactly how you want it to be and gets your information across really, really clearly. So I think that's pretty much it. There's a lot more that you can do on Excel, but that's just a taste, and hopefully that will get you started when you start your Kickstart role, and it means that you can like get going, hit the ground running, and start doing a great job. I'm about if you have any questions, so do feel free to message in the Teams, and I'll answer the questions as best I can. And I think there's also some tea and troubleshoot sessions booked in as well. Also, you could just have Google. There's lots and lots of stuff on the internet, and like I said, there's so much that you can do with Excel. But yeah, hope you have a great time and enjoy exploring Excel. Thanks.